Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel, and if this is your very first time, welcome, welcome. I'm Bonnie, Old Souled Mermaid, and on this channel we discuss all things tarot. We do tarot unboxings, first impressions, take a look at deck collecting, and discuss tarot topics like the one we're going to discuss today, which is actually just my favorites for the month of August and what I used. And most of these things are tarot related, and there's a few things that are kind of not, but this is what my month of August encompassed. So all of this through the lens of this middle-aged 53-year-old ex-Mormon woman. So let's get started. So I think I mentioned on my last, on my July favorites, that I was going to be working with the Pagan Otherworlds and the Mystical Healing Reading Cards, which I did for most of the month. The last week and a half, I used a different Oracle deck and then a different tarot deck. So I started out the month with the Pagan Otherworld, and I know you're all very, very familiar with this deck if you've been around. Very, very well-known deck, but I haven't had it very long, and I was, very much looking forward to working with it. This deck is a heavy, heavy hitter, and it sincerely called me out on some stuff. And I did have some serious stalker cards, which were the Four of Swords, the Four of Cups. Are you noticing a theme here? Oh, I'm sorry. Four of Cups, and then the Nine of Swords. So Nine of Swords, Four of Cups, and Four of Swords. All right. I got these cards numerous times. Sometimes they were together. I would pull a couple and then an oracle card for my daily reads for myself. Just kind of an energy reading, just, what's going on? What do I need to be aware of? That kind of thing. These popped up, I would say, each card popped up more than 3 times. It was 3 to 5 times that these popped up, and it really, really reflected my mindset of just with everything that is going on in the world, and the stress, I have to admit, is starting to get to me. And we'll discuss that in a minute. But the other deck that I used with it, the Oracle deck, I'm sorry if I'm going to look to the side because I have everything laid out on my side. The Mystical Healing Cards by Ina Segal. Now these paired very, very well, because even though while I was getting a confronting message with the Pagan Otherworlds deck, I pulled one of these cards and I would often get a very healing, kind of grounding message that would kind of pull me back from kind of the anxiety. These cards are so beautiful. They are glossy and big. She also has another healing deck, which I do have, but I haven't worked with it yet. I wanted to use this one because I thought just the artwork and the vibe kind of went with the Pagan Otherworlds. And these are the backs. And I do have an unboxing and a first impressions of this deck on my channel. So these are the Mystical Healing Cards by Ina Segal. Both worked very, very well together. And like I said, I used both of those decks with each other for most of the month. But then for the last week and a half, I started using the Hilda Tarot by Celestial Esther, as she is known on Instagram. And she is one of the co-hosts of the Wild Lead Tarot podcast. And she produced this deck independently. I think her pre-order ended at the beginning of June or the end of June, and I mean, the turnaround time was very, very fast. And I guess the story is she started working on this at the beginning of the lockdown in South Korea where she is, so she did something constructive with her time. I have a full unboxing of this deck on my channel and first impressions, but this deck was kind of a great deck to kind of finish August with. A little more lighthearted in the images and also with the readings that I got, and it was the perfect way to end August. It's got a very summery theme. I was kind of not doing very well during a lot of August, and this deck was a welcome, you know, a welcome replacement from what I was doing before. Not to say that I don't like the Pagan Otherworlds, you know, some of those messages, things you don't like to hear, sometimes you need to hear them. But this one brought it down, you know, to a more of a lighthearted mood. And I used this deck in conjunction with the Sacred Self-Care Oracle by Jill Pyle. Now this is a mass market deck. You can readily get it on Amazon or any bookstore. I do have a full unboxing of this deck on my channel, but look how I just thought it would be a good companion with the Hilda Tarot. And I will say with the Hilda Tarot, I heard it announced that she's, Celestial Esther is going to make a Lenormand deck with Hilda as the main focus, so I'm very much looking forward to that. But again, this deck was like, you know, you hear something in the tarot and then this is a very soothing and calming deck. It also, like the mystical healing cards, these also have journal prompts, which I did journal practically every day using these prompts. So I found that was a really good calming, grounding exercise with both oracle card decks. And like I said, I have a full walkthrough of these decks on my channel. So I did work with the Pagan Otherworlds with the book that I purchased. I love the writing in it. It just kind of added to my arsenal of what I thought or felt that the cards meant. And it, you know, there would be a sentence here and there. It didn't happen every time, but it's like, yeah, I never thought of it that way. So that's why I like to get the books. I put it back in its, I'm sorry, the glare. I'm putting it back in its plastic cover because it's a very nice book and I like to keep my things in good condition. So that is it with the decks. And as far, so I read that book. I was reading the book that went with the Pagan Otherworlds, and I read the book with the mystical healing card deck. So I was reading those two things while I was working with the deck. And I read through them cover to cover. But then for more fun reading, I mentioned this book in last month's video because I had started it in July, but I finished it at the beginning of October. And that is this book, The Miniaturist. Not tarot related, it was just for some reading that I felt I needed to do, that kind of reading that you need to cleanse yourself. But this book is a heavy hitter, and I picked up this book because it's by Jessie Burton, The Miniaturist. I saw the miniseries on pbs.org. I have their Passport subscription. It's like I pay $5 a month, but I think maybe you can see it even without a subscription. It is available on, the miniseries is available on Amazon. I think you may have to pay like $5 for it though to rent it. It's 3 episodes, 3 one-hour episodes, and the only there's two people that I know because I'm kind of an Anglophile and I love PBS and British dramas, but it stars Anya Taylor-Joy as the lead character, Petronella, and she was in this year's new version of Emma that was released back in February. And then it also starred another actress, Romola Gautier, I think is how you pronounce her name. She's been in a lot of things. She was in the movie Atonement, and she also played Emma in the PBS version of Emma with Johnny Lee Miller that was out, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago. If you're a PBS fan, you'll know who she is, and maybe you've seen it. But this book and the miniseries, they both stuck together. The miniseries followed the book in almost every aspect for the most part. And oh my gosh, you guys. If you need something to watch, something to read, The Miniaturist. And let me know if you've read it or have seen the miniseries, and let me know what you thought. It was just one of those experiences, the book and the miniseries, that just left me like just kind of haunted. Really, really, really good. So I highly recommend. So now we're going to get into a little bit of non-tarot right now. A little bit on tarot because it was a favorite for August. So one thing I did in August was I overhauled my makeup. Totally overhauled my makeup. I hadn't bought any makeup for a long time, and now that I'm getting older, I find that things that didn't work before, you know, certain things that worked are not working now with the skin. I don't like heavy foundations anymore. I don't like heavy makeup, heavy like caked on, you know, makeup. I like my skin to show through now, because, you know, the heavier the makeup, the more it'll settle in your lines. So I totally redid my makeup, threw out all the old stuff, and what I got was, I found this line because I started looking at I went down the rabbit hole and started looking at beauty blogger channels. I found this tinted moisturizer by ColourPop, pretty fresh. And then I bought the corresponding foundation. This is definitely a tinted moisturizer, which I'm wearing right now, and this is a foundation with a little bit heavier coverage. But it's not heavy by any means. It's like a light medium. And then I bought the primer with hyaluronic acid in it, which is what we aging girls need. And then the misting spray. Both have hyaluronic acid. So I'm reminded of the Eva Longoria commercial for Revlon. Hyaluronic acid, you know. So it's good for holding moisture into the skin, getting that dewy texture that we all want, especially as our skin gets drier as we age. So that's my non-tarot thing. But it was a favorite for August. So now, August has been a very, very hard month. I think I've been watching the news too much, so anxiety is high. And then I've said before that the lockdown and certain aspects of it haven't affected my life personally. It hasn't affected employment. My husband has worked from home for years, and he is, yeah, I'm not working right now. He's the main breadwinner. So he's been working from home for years, and that hasn't changed. So that hasn't affected us. You know, the financial aspect, the stress in that way that so many others are being affected by. Though I will say, if I were to work the industries that I worked in before, I wouldn't be able to have a job. I'd be out of work anyway. But the thing that has affected me more, the stress, is how it has affected my young adult children in various ways. I have my middle daughter recently, just in the last week, did a move from LA to Boulder, Colorado, because she could no longer make it in LA. The high-paying restaurant tip bartender jobs that she was doing in LA, they're gone. They're closed, either closed or gone. And rents are very, very high. She broke up with her boyfriend, who had to go to rehab for an alcohol addiction. And she says, I can't do it here anymore. I can't make it. LA has not been good to me. So she picked up and left in the last week and moved to Boulder, which is kind of a good thing because now she's going to be closer to her brother. My oldest son is in Denver and working in Denver, and he stresses me out because of the working conditions in his office that he works. He's deemed an essential worker. Their business is deemed an essential business, but they work in very cramped positions, and his employer, they do not treat their employees very well. So they're in very, very cramped cramped quarters. There's no window. The ventilation sucks. So I've just been on pins and needles about him getting the bug. And then I have my youngest, my college student. Well, he's back in school. Most of his classes are good. They said we're going to be online except for 2. He'd have to go for 2, but now they've whittled it down to 1. But he moved into a new living situation. He's no longer with us. He moved into a house with he's in the Longhorn, Texas Longhorn band. So he moved in with 3 other bandmates. And I'm just hoping, he says they're all responsible. A couple of them are studying, health professions. But I'm just like, please help them be smart. I said, I'm constantly checking up with him. Are you guys have to make a pact that there's not going to be anybody other than yourselves in the house. No parties, no get-togethers, no matter how small. It just has to be you guys. And he goes, yes, we're being responsible. But it kind of takes its toll. And then I'm watching too much news and reading too much news, and I try to stop, but I can't. So what I do to stop is I try to do crafts, and I try to read, and I've been for some light reading, kind of the escapism type of reading. I've been going to I found these short Highland romances because I'm a big Outlander, Diana Gabaldon fan, and we're going through Droughtlander right now. They're not even filming Outlander. Don't know when it's going to come back on air. So I found on Amazon these just totally short kind of novellas. I'm sorry, I'm looking down because I'm just trying to find on my Kindle. You're going to see my Kindle list right here. But I've been reading, first I started with the trilogy of The Brides of Skye by Jane Castell. So that started out with the Outlaw's Bride, the Rogue's Bride. Oh, what happened to the first one? But then that segued into the Sisters of Kilbride. So that was Awoken and Claimed and Unforgotten. And these books, they were so formula. The plots were just recycled with just a few different events. The men in them were all the same, just different descriptions of their physicality, but they were very enjoyable. So kind of just for the pure escapism aspect of it. So if you're kind of like into those Highland romances, I mean, they're not totally clean. So if you want those Christian romances, these aren't they. They're not smutty. They're kind of like a nice balance in between. So as far as the love scenes and such. So those are the the Brides of Sky books by Jane Castell, and then her other series, because they kind of segue, there's characters that overlap with the Brides of Sky and the Sisters of Kilbride. Has to do with nuns, but nuns who don't stay nuns forever, because they are attracted to these handsome, rugged Highlanders. So if you like that, I recommend. It is what it is, you know. But the other thing I've tried to keep my mind occupied is with crafts, and I did finish my 5 symbols compass class with Heather Hope's Intuitive Art. And I think I mentioned I was doing that in my last video, but I completed my compass, did the share, and that was a needed and uncomfortable experience. And I'm actually having a session in a couple of days from now with Heather to discuss my compass, because there were some nuances and some things that were kind of hard to share in the class, even though that she provides a very safe space in her class. There are some things that we're going to discuss one-on-one, some things that didn't come out to me right away with my compass, and things we have to, go over and just kind of discuss and confront. So I would highly recommend that class, though. If you don't have to be an artist, but you do collage art on a round kind of canvas. It was very, very nice at this time when I'm not like connecting with anybody really, to connect with people through Zoom, through all over the world, through, you know, Scandinavia, through Germany, through the US, it's through the UK. It's been a really nice experience. And also Heather's monthly soul collage Zoom classes, which she offers for free, or she did, but I think if you sign up to her newsletter, she will still offer it for free, and you can give a donation, which is what I do, because I think they're worth it. And it's just a form of socialization. It's working out things within myself through a kind of art therapy, which is very much needed right now. And the other thing is sewing. And I found all summer, with everything that's going on, I have been trouble focusing on my sewing. I've sewed several projects that have not worked out, and either mostly they've turned out too big, even though, you know, I know my size, I know my measurements. And I don't know, I have definitely lost weight in this time, and I think it's due to stress. And like, I don't keep a scale in the house because that's kind of a trigger. I used to have an eating disorder, and I still have aspects, even at this age, that I carry around still. But so I don't keep a scale in the house. I go by how my clothes fit, and things that I made for myself last year are like way too big in the waist and here. I'm going, oh my gosh. So that's the way that I know the stress is getting to me. So those things that I've sewed that have turned out too big, I've sent off to my sister. She's taller. She's, you know, I think a size bigger or two than I am. She's 5'7", 5'8" to my 5'4", a little bit bigger in the bust than I am. And they've worked out smashingly for her. So that is kind of good. It made me feel good that she appreciates the things that I've sewn, and that makes me feel good. So I am working on a project. It's by True Bias Patterns, and it's a jumpsuit, a knit jumpsuit, because I'm dressed right now. I've got my makeup done, my hair sort of done for you all, but the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, is the only time that I get dressed and put some makeup on, because that's when we head into downtown. We get takeout. Just kind of drive around to get out of my little box here where I am in the burbs. And so I'm making this jumpsuit. It's kind of a mesh between secret pajamas, loungewear, and let's see if I can show you a picture of it. Yeah, it's this jumpsuit right here. I hope it's not going to be too glary. It kind of is. Let me see if I can get it. If you can see it, sorry for the glare, but it's a PDF pattern, so I don't have a paper picture to show you, but it's called the Nova Jumpsuit. And I screwed up the straps, but I've got it so where it'll work. It's not perfect, but the screw up is on the inside, so only I know about it. So hopefully this will work out. I think it's gonna fit. I'll show it to you when I finish it if it looks good. Only if it looks good. Maybe I'll show it to you anyway if it doesn't. But so that's it. My July favorites, what's been encompassing my August. I'm hoping that September is a little bit better. I think it's a high time of stress for everybody. It affects people in different ways. Everybody's situation is a little bit different, and I would like to really know how you're affected by it and what you're doing to deal with it. Tarot has helped. One thing that I've been slacking on, and I know I need to do it more at this time than any other time, is meditation. But I find that I'm too wound up that I can't ground and quiet myself enough to set aside the time to sit down and even try to meditate. This week I did manage to get in 2 sessions, which I felt better afterwards. Hopefully this week will be better. But the thing I need the most, I find the hardest to do when I need it. And I don't know if you find that. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Let me know if the stress is getting to you, what you're doing to combat it. I'm going to tell you what I'm working with now that it's September, what deck I am working with. And it is the Lonely Dreamer Tarot by Melissa Wortherspoon. It is a Kickstarter. I did a complete unboxing first impressions video on my channel this week, so it's near the top and you can see it. This deck is an art deck. It's based on the art of Odilon Redon. And I picked this deck because it's kind of, to me, it's like a good segue for summer into autumn, because it has these bright colors in the deck, but then it has these muted colors too, and kind of earthy colors. So I thought it would be a good fall transitional deck. And so far so good. I've read with it for a few days now, and it is fantastic. And those are the backs. The deck is not available right now, but she did announce that she was going to do another printing of this in 2021, and also an oracle deck. So if you want to hear my Kickstarter experience with this deck, you can go to the unboxing for the unboxing video for this deck. Now the oracle deck, and I hope I got it, I do have it, that I'm going to use is the Super Oracle, again by Usi, the makers of the Pagan Otherworlds. This is a very esoteric deck. It deals with Jungian psychology and medieval Gnosticism. And yeah, it's very, very deep. And I am working with this with the book because, like the Pagan Otherworlds, I knew I would need the book with that deck. I also did get the companion book for the Super Oracle because I knew, just looking at the cards, there's a lot to them, even though they're minimalistic drawings, just the themes, and it's pretty esoteric and deep. So just something to push me to add dimension to my readings. And this is the book. It's pretty simple. Whoop! Just dropped my bookmark. But I find that I have to reread the paragraphs over and over again. So that's how kind of deep and kind of above my head right now that it is. The other book I'm going to be working on with this month, it's going to be the Modern Witchcraft Book of Tarot by Sky Alexander. And I picked this up at Half Price Books, and it's like new condition, but I picked it up for like $5.99. So I'm going to be working with this book, reading this book from cover to cover. And also for fun reading, I mean, the tarot stuff is fun, but you know, you have to think. For fun reading, I'm going to be reading this book, Beneath the Moon by Yoshitani. And she is the creator of the Tarot of the Divine. You know, and I just posted an unboxing and first impressions of this tarot deck on my channel. But I just got the book because the tarot deck has to do with all these different, each card is a different story, myth, folklore, fairy tale, and some of them are from obscure things that I've never heard of. And you know, I grew up with the Brothers Grimm's and Hans Christian Andersen and those fairy tales, but you know, I'm not familiar with some of the tales from Africa or a lot of the Asian tales and folklore and myth and Native American myth and folklore. So you can see from this book, it's beautiful. I think this is a myth from New Zealand. And you see the book is just, losing my bookmark again, is beautiful. And so I just wanted it to add that much more dimension while I work with that deck. So I'm going to read the book first, and then at some point I'm going to be working in earnest with the deck. And the deck is beautiful. Look at my unboxing of it, and you'll see. I just love it, and I love this book, and so far I'm having fun. So this is my light reading, and then I'm going to be working with the Modern Witchcraft Tarot book by Sky Alexander, and working with the Lonely Dreamer and the Super Oracle for this month. And I will let you know next month how it all goes. So yes, if you haven't already, if you found any value or any entertainment value to this video, just hit a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I'm still a very small YouTube channel, and I appreciate all. I want to say thank you to all my subscribers for taking the time. Sometimes my videos are rambly. I'm still learning the YouTube thing and social media thing. It's not natural to me. So I'm watching videos to try to get it to be better, and I hope that it is. It's going to be very slow though. As far as tech and all that, I am a slow learner. So until next time, I hope you have the best of days, and I will see you really, really soon. Bye for now.